the actual modding. All right. Like I said, obviously I don't know if this video is gonna have everybody. Everybody has their own items they want to mod. It's not always weapons or ammo. Um, but like I said, everybody wanted well, not everybody, but a lot of people are messaging me about making a video of how I did one of my items. So hopefully this will give you, some help, because maybe you want to modify or duplicate, a resource item, which I will say I think is a pain in the butt. But anyway, let's start. The first thing I'm going to do is open up the angry entry arrow. And let's see. I'll just leave it there. I don't care. Now, this stuff is basically common sense, required level, required Engram points. For testing purposes, I always put something very low, like 5 or 2, basically because you want to test this stuff out, and it makes it retarded. If actually, you know what? Scratch that. Let's see. Poison. I'll explain what I was talking about in a second. Give me 1 second. Let me just do this real quick. Primal item ammo. Okay. All right. Basically, that's what you want to do. This whole Engram thing, the blueprint entry, is what this Engram is going to learn, and of course, it's going to learn a new poison arrow. Now back to this real quick. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. ADD. But the reason I do this, like I was saying, is because it just makes it easier to learn it real quick. Because granted, I can do the command console to spawn it. But like I said, I don't know the whole Unreal Engine 4. I don't know how the whole game works. So I don't know if it's possible. Actually, it might be possible. There might be some errors in this. And you still may be able to spawn it with the console commands. I don't know. I do know that I have made items that are not in the Engram entry list, like the admin rocket tool. The admin rocket tool is only for admins, so if you join a server, you obviously don't have access to command consoles for spawning weapons. So you'll never see the rocket. Somebody else who created the server will never see the rocket either, because it's not in there, but they can spawn it. So even though I can spawn this, in the test mode, it's just easier for me to make sure that I can learn it as a player. So that's why I keep this low. Just in case anybody's wondering, like, why have this? Why does it matter? You can spawn it. This is just easier to make sure that everything works out the way it needs to. Now, the Engram requirement sets, this is in case you want something like, for instance, the assault rifle, I believe you need to require the long neck first in order to unlock it. That's what this is. That's what Engram requirement sets is. It basically allows you to create rules for when you want something else to be unlocked first in order to unlock this. I usually don't do stuff like that. Me personally, I just think it's pointless. I mean, granted, it does sound nice, have something first, before you get this, but, for instance, you need the slingshot before you get the bow and arrow. Let's say, for argument's sake, you don't want the slingshot. You think the slingshot is a piece of crap. You got your spear. You think the spear is good enough, and you're going to level up till you get the bow and arrow. Well, then it's a waste of points to learn something you don't want to learn to unlock something else. That's just my opinion. I honestly think it's dumb as shit. So I never mess with this. You, on the other hand, mate, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying anybody's stupid for doing it, but I just don't. Anyway, though, so now, when you do the Engram, like I said, blueprint entry means what are we going to actually learn in the Engram entry list. And obviously that's going to be the poison arrow. So this is done. We don't have to mess with that no more. The next step is the primal item ammo. I'm going to put this up here. Basically all this stuff, honestly, I believe should be left alone because it's a duplicate of the arrow. So there really wouldn't be a real need to change something unless, it's up to you if you want to change stuff, like allow custom colors. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want your own color arrow. Even though I changed the color of them, I still leave it alone. I give people the options. It doesn't matter. And I'm not going to go through all this because the whole point of this video is just to show you how I create stuff. But whether you're making a weapon, item, or ammo, whatever you should look through the stuff, because depending on the item you have, certain things may not work. But this also comes down to common sense. I know that I'm making an arrow, so this stuff shouldn't be affected by me making an arrow. Now, if I wanted to make, let's say, I don't know, let's say I was gonna do a mod where someone had some kind of like energetic arrow. Like I actually had another modder who made a 3D object that looked like a lightsaber, a light bulb. And it's a whole new object. And I wanted to add it to this. Then there might be some things I may need to check here because I know that this item is not identical. I mean, well, let's take that back. I would know the new item is not identical to like the arrow stone. So, there may be some changes. It's always a good idea to check. And I would always make sure this is checked. Valid crafting resource. There was one item I decided to modify at one point, and I forgot to check this. I didn't even know it wasn't checked, and it gave me a problem. Actually, you know what it was? I believe it was the tranq ammo. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, definitely you should take a couple look at these things. But if you are making a duplicate of something that already works, like the arrow, let's say, or a bullet, I guess, most of the time you won't need to change that. But it's always a good idea to take a look. Be cautious. All right. Let's see. Okay, this stuff I'm going to leave alone because I do want the crossbow and the weapon bow to have access to this arrow. What I am going to need to change or make duplicates of is the wet bow 2 and the weep crossbow 2. And let's see. Weep bow poison, weep crossbow poison. Okay, so I already have those set up. So all I need to do is just reference them. Let's see. And you can see right here, see? I haven't changed these because I already have it working, but this is what I'm talking about. I was being lazy at first. This shit can get very confusing. That's why it's always good to name stuff. Tranq 2. I don't remember why they Tranq 2. That's not important at the moment right now. Let's see. Okay. Did I pass it? I think I did. Yes, I did. We both poison and crossbow poison. Okay. Change the title. Poison arrow. A poison arrow. We'll just leave it like that. I'm not good at describing stuff. It makes common sense as a poison arrow. Alright. I'm gonna change the stuff later. Change the experience. It's a poison arrow. This is another issue that I have sometimes, and I get people complaining all the time. Well, not all the time, but I've had a few complaints. Not so much with the experience, but other things. But the experience thing, I haven't played the game much. I've been actually doing so much modding that I don't know what feels natural to other players. I've had players tell me that some of my stuff is overpowered. I had to change it. Some said it was easy to craft. I had to change it again, which is why I have somebody testing it now. And everybody's different. Some people still think it's overpowered. Some people probably think that I should make it less easier to unlock. What was I looking for? I almost lost my train of thought. Oh no, I know what I was doing. Stone arrows. Primal item arrow tranq 2. Okay. So you may not have this problem, so this may be a waste of just explaining it. But I usually just try to go by certain things: repairing experience points, base crafting. It all depends on how much damage and everything does, the level. So sometimes I just throw a number out there, which is what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do like 2.8 for crafting, and we'll do like I don't know, 1.8. Anybody who sees this that starts complaining, let me know later on. I'll fix it. This is just to get this arrow out there. Let's see. Here's another issue I have. I don't always know it's the best thing to put. But for testing purposes, it's always easy to just, like I said, test one thing out. just to make sure you can learn to craft it. Then later on, you can go and make it, you know, the most perfect, you know, type of thing you want. And usually what I do, just to make sure it's easy to build, I just put stone, you know, because when you do the testing thing, stone is like one of the resources you always have. And like I said, it's just to make sure that you can craft it, you know, so it's not a big deal. The arrow icon I will change later. I won't do a video on this, but just to explain real quick, all you have to do is find that icon, which I have in a few of my, like the fire arrow, I have it right here. All you have to do is when you find the original, which like I said, you go back to Prime Earth and do everything, just click on it and export it. Export it to your desktop, and then with whatever program you want to use, I use Photoshop because Photoshop is much easier. I haven't used a lot, but I know other ones, basic ones that you use, it changes the whole, like for instance, right here. I'll show you real quick. I mean, the icon's easy, but like for instance, the regular file for this is beige, the beige arrow. Now you notice that I was able to change this and a little bit of this, but without affecting this. Photoshop did this. I know other paint programs or color programs or however you call them will actually change the whole damn color, which I didn't want. I just wanted this and a little bit of this. So, but you know, like I said, I'm not gonna make a video of that because that's not what this video. These videos are for. And then that should be it. I will change that later, but for now, everything is good. Poison arrow. Why did this do this? Basic. Did I not save that? Okay, that's weird. Poison. Seems like I can't spell today. Poison arrow. All right. Hit and yeah. See it with this. Here we go. Compile. That's another thing too. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody does this, but you cannot just save. You have to compile and then save. All right. Back to my poison arrow. Okay, we did this. Okay, the next thing we're gonna start on this stuff, but that's gonna be the next video because this video is already getting kind of long. See you in the next video.